Oh, let's see here. Ah, the workers are still working. So I'm looking into one video that apparently tries to claim that it connects to the Jews. It's just incredible how much people will try to connect it with the Jews. Oh, he was a Jew. No, no, no. It's actually, before the Jesuits, he was, that this video tries to link the Illuminados with the Jews. That it was actually the Illuminados, which actually were Jews, were crypto Jews. It just keeps on and on and on. Why is the video not working here? Don't know. Clearly there's some problem. There we go. So this video tries to tell us that the Illuminados were actually crypto Jews. Jews that are Jews in the background, but have another, outwardly have another religion like Roman Catholicism or whatever. But that's as I understand it. So this is another one where these and I'm just still thinking like you have the whole history of Inigo in regards of his well caving thing and all that. You really don't need him to be connected with the Illuminados. You don't really, in regards of they say that all, his doctrines he got from the Illuminados or whatever and all that. But really, in regards of the history, you don't need that. He goes into a cave, he have contact with the devil, have all these disgusting visions and all that. You don't need him to be connected with the Illuminati, any Illuminati group in regards to that, But then they will say, well, Inigo was, a Jew, right? And when that doesn't work, they will try everything and anything to try to connect it with the Jews. The Jesuits are Jewish controlled, or, the Vatican is controlled by the Jews, and, Hitler was a Jew, and, it just goes on, and the Jews are not really Jews. It's the bullshit, more bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. And apparently this one seems to be more bullshit. Here it tries to connect. Now, here it doesn't connect Inigo or Loyola, whatever you want to call him. Here it doesn't try to connect Inigo or Loyola with being a Jew as far as I can see. It just tries to connect him with the Illuminados and say the Illuminados, the Illuminati, was really Jews, they were just Jews, that was false what do you call it? No, there were Jews that, might have been false converted, but, on the outer surface was something, maybe Roman Catholic in Spain. That would probably have been the case, right? Because the Jews were, converted, some of them were false converted, and then, if you were still keeping to the Jewish things, which is actually, a lot of it is actually biblical, like the Sabbath and the Passover according to the Bible, unleavened day of bread festival and all that, you could be considered, as far as I understand it, a crypto Jew, because you're still keeping to things, Jewish things, it's actually just biblical things. Now, of course, the Jews have a lot of man-made nonsense as well, but then you have to discern in regards of what is actually man-made, and Jesus or Yeshua was breaking all the man-made bullshit pretty much. All their fallacies, he was breaking them, and as far as I can see, absolutely on purpose. Every single time he had the possibility of breaking one of their bullshit laws, of man-made laws, he did it. It was not like he was breaking the Torah, the law of Moses, but he was breaking their understanding of things and all these washing of hands and whatnot, which they still do today, Anyway, so how can you claim that there's no Zionist movement? That's talking about, in regards to the Zionist movement, that they will say, well, Zionist movement was afterwards connected with, again, the Jesuits are controlling, and you also have this Illuminati group coming out, which, afterwards, at least in the visible, right, after the Jesuits, where we know that this guy that, Adam Weishaupt was actually a Jesuit, So that connects it with of course, the Society of Jesus, right? But it seems like everything, they just try everything, So this video tries to claim that the not Loyola Inigo, not Inigo or Loyola was this is not this, they don't seem to try to say that he was a Jew, but they say, well, the Illuminati before that he was part of, they try to connect him with that as well, and in regards of, but the thing is, he was investigated by the church on account of his connections to the Illuminados. But as far as I recall, in regards of, we have some of his where he testifies when he doesn't know anything in regards to the Sabbath or anything. He only knows in regards to the Sunday and in regards of the mother, so-called Mary, and all that. So he sounds pretty much like a Catholic, and why wouldn't he be? It's like this guy gets So yeah, there's a lot of things. If you just look at history in regards of the Jesuits, it doesn't seem like just because he was investigated by being part of the Illuminados, but apparently this video tries to make the Illuminados in regards of Jews. Los Alumbrados, the term means the illuminated, was persecuted by the Spanish Inquisition because it was formed by Jews. I think that's false information. Because again, we have connections with the Illuminati, seemingly other places, and doesn't seem to be So this is something I would question absolutely. So it says crypto Jews, that hide their real belief behind other religions, and that in Spain would most likely be Roman Catholicism. You have the conversos and all that, and we actually have some really good things happening as well in regards of Jewish Christians and Gentile Christians, getting together. The Jewish Christian teaching the Gentile Christians about the festivals, biblical festivals, actually found in the Bible. Not all that Roman Catholic bullshit from the Antichrist and all that. And then you have the Gentile Christians teaching the Jews about Jesus Christ. So you actually have a pretty good, but of course Satan doesn't like that, right? When we get too close on both things, he slams the door. Anyway, you get persecution. Anyway, this video say they failed to mention that in 1527 Ignatius of Loyola was investigated by the church on account of his connections to Alumbrados. Well, what it actually, just because he was investigated by the church on the account, and as far as I know, we actually have his response, because I've listened to some of the response somewhere, where he talks about in regards to where they ask him about the Sabbath and all that, and he says, well, I don't know anything in regards of the Sabbath. He talks about Sunday. I just know, in regards of, and Mary and all that, so... and that's, looking at his story, where they go to this Black Mary statue, or where he goes to this Black Mary statue and all that, It's not, he's just fixated, a Catholic fixated on the Queen of the Heavens, the pagan satanic Queen of the Heavens. It's not a surprise, and it's not a surprise with all the visions, all these satanic visions that he had. There's no surprise that he gets his teaching from demons, We don't need all this connection with Alumbrados or anything like that, He just connects to the devil, He gets hurt in regards to all this military thing and all that. A military man wants to have fame and all that, and what do I call it? Valor. I can't remember what it's. That's a word for it. He gets hurt with his leg and all that, and goes into reading these so-called saints books and all that, not the Bible. And then he goes into a meditation in a cave and get into visions and all that. And gets the true teaching of the church, and go to the Antichrist and gets established to reconquer the lost and the rest of the world. We don't even need to connect it with Alumbrados. The whole story in itself seems to be agreeable. There's nothing really something questionable in regards of that, in regards to that history, it's not nothing new that Satan can give, show things and all that. It's so yeah. Anyway, just a few years later, Loyola formed the society. Okay, so was investigated by the church on account of his connections to the Illuminados. Just a few years later, Loyola formed the Society of Jesus. Can you guess who gave the orders to Loyola? Well, the devil, But anyway, so again, this video tries to connect the Jesuits to the Jews. So it's not that they connect. Not this video doesn't seem to try to say that Inigo was a Jew, as some other bullshitters tried. He's a Jew, and the Jesuits are Jews, and all that, right? Now these tries to connect the Illuminados with the Jesuits and thereby say the Illuminados was actually Jews. So, I don't know, I'm just trying to research. It's just... So it says, how can you claim that there's no Zionist? They try to fix it with the Zionist movement in regards of Jews and all that. So how can you claim there's no Zionist movement before the Jesuit order when it is right in your face and precedes the Society of Jesus by at least a century, and is very likely to have influenced Loyola and placed him at the top of the Jesuit order with the exact purpose of hiding the already compromised Alumbrado society? Where do you think the satanic core of the Jesuit doctrine came from? Well, the devil, maybe, So, you gotta be kidding me. So again, and what evidence do we have that the Illuminados was, Zionist and Jews? What evidence do you show for that? You just say that the Illuminados were Jews. Give me, do we have any evidence? Any evidence? Show me any evidence that the Illuminados was crypto Jews and all that. Just seems to me more in misinformation. So, and I'm still also kind of concerned in regards to what connection, in regards to the Illuminati, the Jesuit being the Illuminati, and the Illuminati being the Jesuits and all that. At least it's just kind of still kind of what. It's not needed, The story of Ignatius Loyola or Inigo don't need Illuminati. And what evidence do we, just because he was investigated for, maybe being part of this, that they had questions on it and all that, doesn't mean that he was part of it. It just means they investigated him in regards of it, Anyway. Whatever, whatever it is, just... And again, the book of Daniel doesn't say it's the Jews. It says it's the Roman beast, okay? Roman, get that into your head. And yet they want to say it's the Jews. So... But again, where do you think the satanic core of the Jesuit doctrine came from? Well, it came from the devil, Ignatius. What do you think the spiritual teachings of Ignatius Loyola is about, right? It's just what they say is one of the most important books, and they're drawing back into satanic bullshit, being spiritual with the devil, It's not a surprise that the devil can do spiritual things, okay? So let's see what they... Laws alumbrados. Here we actually say laws alumbrados. I wonder in regards to... Laws alumbrados. I don't know what laws means. Laws alumbrados. I'll see here. Well, I did actually find the book in regards of where it's... Alumbrados was a thing that was used to, this is Danish, to loosely, describe mystics' form of Christianity in the 15 and 1600. So, well, it doesn't really say that they were Jews. Um, Here we have some that says, we have known for some time how often persons of suspected Jewish heritage appeared linked to the first group of the Illuminados. Yeah, well, that's one source talking about. But anyway, let's see. Los Alumbrados were among the first to be persecuted by the Inquisition, and one of the reasons for the birth of the Inquisition in the first place. Isn't it obvious, or at least likely, that the Society of Jesus could have been created as a front for... wait. Is he questioning this now? Isn't it obvious, or at least likely? Wait. Are you saying that you don't have evidence for it, that the Society of Jesus could have been created as a front for the Alumbrados? And then it says, illuminated crypto-Jews. In order to fully penetrate and reform the church. Now, again, why was the Jesuit created? Oh yeah, counter-protest, counter-reformation, counter-reformation, to gain back what was lost. It doesn't. So now you wanna say that these are just, are Jewish, in order to fully penetrate and reform the church. No, they were counting the counter-reformation, No, they were counting. They were counting the Reformation. They were the counter-Reformation. No wonder that there was an attempt to suppress the Jesuit order by Pope Clement the 14 in 73. Well, that was because they were, mingling into political things. So as they do, And it just seems to be like a coding to smear out what the Jesuits really are. I guess this is one of these another nonsense theories that want to smear it on the... And of course, you can find sources on this and that. Sure, you have a lot of Roman Catholics, like how many? 1.8 billion Roman Catholics out there. You might think there's some liars amongst those. Deceivers who write books, and as they usually do with the intention of changing history, at least in the books anyway. So here there seems to be some bullshit claims why they would be suppressing the Jesuit order. Oh, I guess it's because of the Jews again, right? I guess I need to dig further into. But yeah, there's no. When you think about it, either if you say, well, the Jesuits are the Illuminati and the Illuminati are the Jesuits, right? But before the Jesuits, you don't need the Illuminati. Ignatius or Inigo doesn't need to be part of the Illuminati to get all his doctrines and all that, because and the story in regards of he's a warrior. He wants to get some fame. He wants to get some I can't remember what it's called, but he wants to be seen as a hero or whatever, someone that goes into battle and all that, right? And then he gets his whole career, because of his leg is going shot, and he anyway, and then he goes in another direction and form the military of the Jesuits. He doesn't need any anyway. I say an attempt because the Jesuits were not abolished but suppressed in Spain, Italy, France, and Portugal, but not in process, and the vast Russian Empire. In just some 40 years, the Jesuit order was fully re-established. So how was the Illuminati formed as a front to something that wasn't abolished in the first place and still existed? Anyway, let's go. Come on, come on. But I think we can delete that video pretty shortly. And I don't know. Why the Jesuit order would want to recreate and hide behind a society that was already compromised and persecuted by the Inquisition, and how can you hide behind something that is in fact hidden behind you? Well, isn't it safer to assume that the Illuminados that was hiding behind the Society of gained enough power and was brave enough to make another attempt to coming out of the shadow by forming the Illuminati? The Illuminated wanted to be organized and out in the light. That's why Weishaupt, a Jesuit, formed it in 1776. Here we go with the Weishaupt, a Jesuit. So at least here we connect the Jesuits with the group of the Illuminati, and we, as you know, we had this guy hit by a lightning strike, where there's a book on that as well, and apparently they sent the thing out to the European nations to warn them about the plans, including France. The Illuminati holds great risk to the agenda of the Illuminated. That's why they operated legally and out in the open for just a few years, just about enough to recruit the top of the mainstream non-secular high society. Wow. So, the statement that the Illuminati are being pushed in our face all the time is not fully correct. We all know that the best way to hide something is to create the illusion that it is fully displayed out in the open. However, it still remains an illusion. Please make note of how are the Illuminati portrayed by mainstream media, including Dan Brown, angels and demons. And, why would I, dance Browns, that's for the trash, And so, yeah. Thanks to that in-our-face information in the eyes of the public, Illuminati became a term associated with ludicrous conspiracy theories, represented by a French group of crazy, socially handicapped outsiders and crackpots. Was there any legitimate and structured information on Illuminati anywhere in the mainstream? Sources like the press, TV, or the early stages of the internet? Is there a structured and systematic source of information in the mainstream on Illuminati now? No, there isn't. Is the history, structure, and activity of the Jesuit order documented and a part of the mainstream? Yes, of course. Right? Is the history, structure, and activity of the Jesuit order documented and a part of the mainstream? Yes, of course. Why? Because it is just a part of the compartmentalized control grid of the elite, and by itself alone does not represent the head of the snake. Just as neither Zionism nor the Rothschild alone do represent the head of the snake. This is disinformation as far as I can see. This video is just trying to steer away. How many people have heard about the Jesuits? And he's going to claim that is the history, structure, and activity of the Jesuit order documented and a part of the mainstream? And he says, yes, of course. Is it really? How many do you know who knows about the Jesuits? I can go down on the street and ask, do you know who the Jesuits are? And they wouldn't know. Most of the people would not know. They don't even know who the Antichrist is, you know. Um, so they try to say why, because it's just part of the compartmentalized control grid of the elite. No. It's like this is. So he says that, you know, this is not the head of the snake. So what will you point out to be the head of the snake? Um, no, it's the juice with some coffee taste. But anyway, this book in regards to the Illuminati fixing all the information from the world, and as I understand, there should also be a book on the on the Illuminati plans when this guy was struck with lightning, and a lot of these guys were caught by the police, the government, and they released the documents that they found on this group. Must have been very interesting to look into what they were up to, you know, at that point. But I guess, but yeah, it's, you know, we see a Jesuit, and then we see the group of the Illuminati, at least, right? 76, right? Something like that. So we see a Jesuit, you know. And then they will claim, well, he's not a Jesuit anymore, or what, you know. It's just, it just seems to be lie after lie and deception after deception. Doing anything and everything to... so source of information, Historia de los Historiadores. Okay, and some Wikipedia and some Saint Teresa of Avila. Is that all? Is that all you're going to give me on that? Okay, well, going to delete that video. I don't. It seems to, as far as I can see, that's not that's leading people astray. Oh, but you know, the Jews, right? You know, the Illuminati is really the Jews. You know, connecting it. You gotta be kidding me. I always want to connect it with the Jews. The Jews, right? Oh my. Well, if it doesn't, you know, if one thing doesn't stick, they will try something else. And they just keep people on going, and it makes it harder to find out what is really behind it. I say, black nobility and Jews, El Alumbrados Illuminati started the Jesuits. Really. So, it just makes more sense that the story actually being told about Inigo is actually the true story, you know. It makes much more sense, I think, than all these things. You know, he's a warrior of nature. He goes into war. He, you know, his legs he goes into, you know, begins to read about and wants to, yeah, it makes, you know, all this other. Anyway, let's delete that video. I'm just sick and tired of this, you know, Jew nonsense. It's like the Jews everywhere, right? The Jews. Yeah. Hate the Jews. Yeah, don't look at the papacy and the Roman Catholic maniac institution. No. And the Jews are behind that as well. The Jews all around. Yeah, whatever, you know. Oh, the Jews is in regards of this, vaccine bullshit and all. Oh, really? So why are the Jews themselves being, you know, heavily, you know, oh, it's just bullshit. Oh, the Jews were behind the Holocaust. Oh, okay. Like, you know, the insanity, you know. Yeah, the Jews are killing the Jews, right? You know. Okay. while we have a Roman Catholic in the head of Nazism, and a lot of Roman Catholics in regards of Nazism, because it was Roman Catholicism. Anyway, what was that in regards to that concordant, in regards to when a nation make a concordant with the Vatican and all that? Anyway, here we have Donald Trump calls for a New World Order at Jesuit Al Smith dinner. We have Eric John Phelps, All Roads Leads to Rome, Black Sheep Radio, and yeah, we'll have a lot of. Let's see, do we actually have more in regards to the Jews here? Black nobility, well, that should be deleted now. Why would it actually fix the Jews here? I don't see any Jews in the text here. I have Jews, and in regards of disinformation and all that. Well, they always try to get us astray. And they're very good at that. But again, where's the proof? Again, if you're going to prove that, yeah, well, Ignatius Loyola was the Inquisition and all that, yeah, but where's the proof, you know? I could read the whole thing, I guess. I think it exists in regards to what Ignatius Loyola was saying at that specific point. I think it was recorded and all that in regards of... so you could look into that and you could... But, you know... Just so he was investigated for being part of it. Does that mean he was part of it? Now, if he was already doing a lot of weird things, you know, they he could have been investigated, you know. But that doesn't make him. It doesn't make that he's part of it. But anyway. So we have Eric, Jesuit, control of banking, explained. Oh, actually there's a little more we can take off here. Eric, John Phelps, Jesuit, explained. And I have a lot of videos or things from Eric, John Phelps, and yeah, it's I really need to chop down, some of them. It's hard, you know, because you need, you know, you listen to them and figure out what do I need and what, you know. I had one where he, you know, a little too much warmongering and in regards to the weapon in the hand and all that, and that's I could throw that out. Don't really think that's I think it was taken a little out of context from the scriptures in regards of taking up the sword of the hand and all that. I don't think that was the point of Christianity. And I think the Anabaptist was really the only ones that came out on top in regards to World War II, never taking up the sword of the hand, as far as I can see, you know, standing that ground that they wouldn't take part in killing others. So here we have some Gnosticism, Alumbrados, that would be the Illuminati, and Jesuits, Loyola, Simon Magus. That seems to be probably some more bullshit, actually. Probably throwing out that... No, I don't know, actually. Let's see.
Quick video, and you're referencing Columbian Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
This is the...
Columbian Encyclopedia. Let's see what this is of.
57.
First edition, or second edition actually. That says second edition 1950. Did he? And 13 printing 1867. So
reprint, and that's one. I like these old ones because they got well, for instance, connections to. Like I did one on the Illuminati definitions using these old books, but in this one I want to have a look at Gnosticism, and the entry is. A religious and philosophical movement of the late Hellenistic and early Christian eras, so 3rd century BC up to 3rd century AD, I suppose. The concept is that salvation is to be sought through knowledge rather than faith, ritual, or good works. Was the unifying principle which blended scattered bits of ideas. The definition of gnosis, knowledge, as concerned with the eternal, was present in earlier Greek philosophy, Hellenistic mystery cults, so a lot like the Pythagorean schools and these type of things, which has some connection to the earlier Egyptian mystery schools, but Hellenistic mystery cults had been concerned with destiny and evil, which they taught man resists with gnosis or knowledge. Gnostic elements existed in the doctrines of the Essenes and the Furupate, I'm not sure of those, but who taught that eternal life is attained through knowledge of the divine mystically.
I don't recall in regards to the Essenes should have anything to do with Gnosticism, but I haven't read all the documents. But I guess the the Essenes documents was found later on, right? When was the Essenes? Yeah, that was found in 1948, right? Essenes document found like when the Israel was. Two medieval manuscripts stating. No, I'm looking for the Dead Sea Scrolls here. Dead Sea Scrolls. So I don't know how much you would have known in regards to the information from. I think it was 1947, was first found in 1947, and Israel became a state in 1948, if I recall correctly. So so again, we didn't have the documents in regards to the Essenes that we now know as the Essenes, right? In regards of, and so I don't know in regards of if they actually, were Gnostic in. We do have the Gnostic Gospels from Egypt, but that's not the Essene, So I don't know, but of course this is an older book, so we have to, they didn't have those documents at their disposal. As far as I know, the Essenes just had some differences with some of the temple practices and calendar and such things. Anyway, I don't know. It's a topic that that one could go into.
Revealed. These Jewish sects rejected the Old Testament concept.
No, how could they? We clearly have found huge amount of books from the Old Testament at the place where we now understand the Essenes to have been. So that seems kind of, I have the whole book of Yeshayahu or Isaiah in the whole scroll from the Essene. If they didn't really, if they rejected the so-called Old Testament, why would they have these books from the Old Testament?
Of God as righteousness and creator, and emphasize instead love of divine wisdom. Christian Gnostics.
I'll go with the Christian Gnostic denied the Jewish foundation of Christianity and wholly rejected the Old Testament. See Martian. So I guess they believed that Martian was a Gnostic. I don't know if you could claim that Martian was a Gnostic. Martian lived in the 2nd century, and he was a Pauline only Christian. So he collected all of Paul's letters and all that, and rejected a lot of this Jewish things and all that, and saw the Old Testament God as the evil God and the new. Actually, I at least have one guy that sees it like that, in the modern day, That's probably a lot more, but at least I've spoken to one. And I just can't, when people do that, the Old Testament, that's an evil God. How can you believe that's, and then they, it's just bullshit. You're going to be kidding me. So they did divide up like an evil God and a good God. And it's like, it's Jesus. It's Jesus, it's all Jesus, Anyway. So this was an heresy from the 2nd century already. See, the dualism of...
which the earliest Christians tended to be before the Constantine. There was a lot of Gnosticism in these early Christian schools, not necessarily all of them, but there was quite a strong element. But the Jewish sects rejected the Old Testament. Christian Gnostics denied the Jewish foundations of Christianity and wholly rejected the Old Testament.
Yeah, and the Gnostics was it was like the spiritual so-called Christianity. It's nothing to do with Christianity besides using Christianity at its outer surface, It's still Gnosticism, just with a, wrapping of Christianity, like Roman Catholicism is just the old mystery Babylon religion of sun worship, solar worship, with a Christian facade in front of it. It's just...
See Marcion, he was the Marcionites are an early heresy that opposed the Catholic Church.
2nd century, and we have at least 2 guys writing against him in regards to this. Of course, the Judaizer from Asia Minor, Melito, we don't have the documents. Because the Romanizers hated Melito, Guess he ruined it for all their fallacies.
Church. The dualism of Gnosticism was strengthened by the influence of Eastern cults such as Zoroastrianism. So Zoroastrians you had the Ahura Mazda, or the divine sort of god type, and then he was opposed by the Angra Mainyu, or the Ahriman, the lying mind. And so
this is, again, it's all the bullshit again. If you can't believe the first version of Jesus, then it's just dishonest to, hey, if you want to worship the devil or whatever and all that, but why mix it with Jesus, Why mix it with Jesus? That, so dishonest, so disgusting, it's so smelly, one thing is, okay, you don't want to believe, Jesus to be who he says he is and all that. But why make up your own bullshit,
So dualism, I suppose, a lot
why mix it together with your nonsense, right? It's like
more complicated. But for instance, one of the philosophical questions was, how could the devil exist if God was all powerful? And that there were some schools that thought that, a lot like Zoroastrianism, that the light and the lying mind, or the light and the dark, to put it simply, was equally powered and in battle with each other. The way, standard Christianity would be that, God is all supreme, and you should be able to crush the devil at any moment. This is one of the problems that the dualism sort of dealt with.
Well, he's still following his own rules, He has put the rules in the game, and he's following his own rules. And, whatever the thing is, So the Satan will be destroyed, still further down the line. We've already been told, in the future when he's going to be destroyed after the 1,000-year reign,
With amongst others, but so the dualism of Gnosticism was strengthened by the influence of Eastern cults such as Zoroastrianism. The need for redemption was common to many creeds, and Gnostics added it to the idea of wisdom. After the 1st century AD, Christ was accepted, but as an emanation from the first cause, magic echo. Before I go on, so we'll go back up. Gnosticism, religious and philosophical movement of the the concept that salvation is to be sought through knowledge rather than faith, ritual, or good works. Which brings us to, so for instance, this is an older, the Illuminati is again mentioned in these older dictionaries, and entry to certain heretics such as the Alumbrades.
Well, there's nothing wrong with good works. The question is, what kind of fruit are you producing, right? If you're going against, if you're testifying in regards of Jesus, that's, good works, If you're standing for the truth, you will produce good works, in regards of testifying on the truth, right? If you're worshipping the devil and saying that Jesus is a cookie and all that, and then you're doing bad fruit, You're leading people in the wrong direction. You're doing bad works, So, in regards to works and all that, and then, and then the question is, what is good works? Is it good works to, say prayers and go upstairs and say a prayer every single time or whatever and all that, or say Hail Mary, whatever nonsense, and all that. Sorry, God. It's like I didn't really do. Hopefully, in regards to context, I didn't say it for. But yeah, is that good works? No, it's disgusting, because what they are, they're doing all this nonsense for the devil, So they might call it good works, right? And you need to say so and so many Hail Marys to do this and that for punishment for your sins and all that. Are you kidding me? Where do you find that in the Bible? Yeah. All the pagans have their pearls, pretty much, right? the Mohammedans, I should start with the Roman Catholics, the Mohammedans, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the New Agers, and all that. Oh, we have pearls, right? And doing different whatever nonsense, but
Spain about the year 1575.
So certain heretics, as the Illuminados, who sprang up in Spain about the year 1575 and who afterward appeared in France. Their principal doctrine was that by mental prayer they had attained to the perfect state as to have no need of ordinances, sacraments, and good works.
What's that?
So what's the point of
By
this?
mental prayer they had attained so perfect a state as to have no need of ordinances, sacraments, and good works. So it's very similar.
How is that similar if, didn't it actually say that, let's see, the concept of that salvation is to be sought through knowledge rather than faith. Okay. To be sought through knowledge rather than faith, ritual, or good works was the unifying principle with splendid scattered bits of ideas. Okay. The concept that religious and philosophical movement of the late Hellenistic and early Christian eras in regards to Gnosticism, the concept that salvation is to be sought through knowledge, okay, rather than faith, ritual, or good works, okay. So you don't need, faith, rituals, or good works. Well, faith in Jesus Christ. So you don't need to, well, anyway, salvation through knowledge, So don't believe in Jesus Christ, just, have your own,
This also has nice links because...
So I can see, okay, so we have a little of the same. But again, the devil uses the same, but in regards of, the Jesuits, it doesn't, they do still have they do still have a lot of focus on a lot of bullshit, so, and retreat every single year, I think, in regards of, no, I'm not from the inside, so but as far as I know, there's some retreat, where they can retreat every single year, something like that, and do, so, I'm not sure in regards of he's going to Simon Magus.
Well, even just the Illuminates, even just the wiki, but you can do a lot better than that. But who was an Illuminate? Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits.
But how, again, how do we know that he actually is, Illuminati,
So again, we have these nice...
in regards of before the Jesuits, where do we have the evidence that he was part of that group, Again, I just see some, bringing up that the Inquisition was this and that, but that doesn't make him, part of that group, Not saying that he wasn't, but that doesn't, it just doesn't seem to be much evidence if we're going by only one, Inquisition diary or whatever that, and where he, absolutely, as far as I know, rejects it, that he doesn't know anything in regards of the Sabbath thing, and he only knows in regards to the Sunday and Mary thing, and that also fits with the rest of, he's a Roman Catholic. He's a Roman stinking Catholic. And one extreme radical one as such,
Going on there because I'm working on something.
So we're not allowed to pretty much get that understanding that he's just a radical Catholic, a devil worshipper.
By Kershaw, who's a very prolific author, writer, historian, and a Jesuit as well. And we come back to... Okay, so after the 1st century AD, Christ was accepted as an emanation of the first cause. Magic was a common feature of Hellenistic cults, was incorporated into Gnostic rite.
And we also go in regards of Christian Gnostics denied the Jewish foundation of Christianity and wholly rejected the Old Testament. See Martian. And there we go with again with I still don't understand in regards to the Martian thing, because as far as I know, he wasn't like I don't recall that he was portrayed as a Gnostic, but maybe I'm wrong. He was portrayed as, the Old Testament God is one God and the New Testament God is another God, right? And all the Jewish nonsense we throw out and we only use the letters of Paul and all that. He clearly saw a difference between Paulus and the others. He thought that the other apostles was just wrong, They just made a mistake, I have the introductions to the letters that survived to the Martian Pauline letters, and clearly the enemy, all those, what is perceived as false apostles and all that, that's the true apostles. And then he stands with Paulus. So we see absolutely, anyway.
Ritual, even though the Gnostics taught that God is intellect to be sought with the mind. Later Gnostics.
Yeah, I don't think we could say that Martian was a Gnostic, but in that sense, I don't think he. In various popular sources, Martian is often reckoned among the Gnostics. Well, but still, it says Martian is sometimes described as a Gnostic philosopher. I don't think he could, he had some other ideas, rejecting the Old Testament, rejecting Jewish thing and all that, and believing there was two gods. But that's not Gnosticism, is it? Right? It's not in regards of knowledge as such that he just thought, well, just, but he thought that the Old Testament God was not the same as the New Testament God. Jesus was like the sweetheart and all that, and the Old Testament God was an evil God and all that. So he was dividing the things, So I don't think that would be seen as Gnosticism, but apparently some other seems to. And of course, if you want to know in regards of Gnosticism, in regards of the knowledge and I think secret keys to open up in regards of the spiritual, and you have to have that, you can go to Bart Ehrman, I think, talks about in regards of going into Gnosticism, what it's really about and all that from the documents from Egypt and all that was found. Martian, I don't think you would. He was also, they were writing against Martian, but I don't think it was in regards of Gnosticism that they were writing against Martian. It's I wouldn't. That's not the the idea, at least I have, of Martian, that he was a Gnostic. But anyway. But apparently some clearly does seem to, but I don't think it was like in regards of knowledge that Martian was going for. He just, he thought that the Old Testament God was a bad God, evil God, and the New Testament God was a good God, and all the apostles, the true apostles, they were just wrong. Only Paulus really got the truth of things and all that, and thereby he collected all Paulus' letters, And Jesus was the good God, anyway, and the Old Testament was the bad guy. So he was dividing God up in bad and, bad God and a good God. And that's, it's the same God, But he couldn't accept, and again, at least I've talked to one that can't accept that the Old Testament God is the same God as the New Testament, And so that makes up two gods. So there's just, I don't know how people can, one good, one bad,
Particularly Valentinus, or Valentinus, not sure, developed a complex doctrine based on all these concepts and held together by the current influence of Neoplatonism. They had the Platonics, but
And neo means new, by the way.
Platonism is...
And Plato had contact with demons. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, well, no, there was Socrates. Plato probably also had it. But clearly Socrates had it, Plato probably also had it, but I have to be careful. But at least Socrates, he writes about Socrates clearly having contact with these, at least one familiar spirit, where they get answers and people could ask, and Socrates' familiar spirit could answer. And I'm not sure about Plato, but again, well, anyway. Wouldn't be a surprise again if he also had contact with demons, but there's a lot of writings I haven't, whatever.
It's a bit different and worth looking up, but especially they in terms.
Let's see, was it Plato that they got the doctrine of heaven and hell, and the transubstantiation they got from they got from what is it called? The Roman Catholics. They mix all this pagan bullshit, from the Socrates. No, not Socrates. What is the other guy? I never can remember that third guy. You have Socrates, Plato, and you have Aristotle. So Aristotle they use for the transubstantiation bullshit, okay? I think the heaven and hell doctrine can actually be led back to Plato. I think they use Plato for that. I'm a little more shaky on that, but why mix? This is the bullshit, right? They mix all the Greek bullshit and all that, and with Christianity, all this pagan bullshit. Why do they need to mix? It's the same thing with this. I was reading this magazine for Catholics, former Catholics, and I found at least one place again where they just mixed a pagan god into explaining something, and I'm like, oh, give me a break with this bullshit,
Well, one was sort of the number that they worshipped, if you want to put it simply, but they taught that through the worship of Sophia, or wisdom.
Yeah, Philia Sophia, love for wisdom, I think it's called. Philia Sophia, I think. I must be from Greek or something like that. Philia Sophia. But I think it's like it means love for wisdom. That's some things you found, but meaning. Let's see, Greek meaning. Yeah, let's see. The love of wisdom. Philia plus Sophia, the love of wisdom. It says here. So the love of wisdom, but what kind of wisdom, pagan bullshit, Okay.
The work of the creator or demiurge of the material world was
Oh yeah, wasn't there something in regards of that the material world was evil and the spiritual was good or something like that? Let's see, they taught that through the worship of Sophia, wisdom, the work of the creator demiurge of the material world was repudiated. I think they believed that every there was something in regards to matter was evil and spiritual was good, which of course doesn't really work, because you have spirits that are good and spirits that are bad. We have spirits on the. Apparently, it just stopped working now. I don't know what happened, but apparently it just stopped working. 6. We seem to have lost, But I think this will probably be a video that I will throw out. Well, it's still uploading, so it's probably the website that is problematic.
Repudiated.
And then it. Give me a break.
Pleroma between Sophia and Jesus and reflected truth.
I need to go back.
Repudiated. Intellect to be sought with the mind. Later Gnostics, particularly.
Well, I'll just take a break. I need to go to the toilet. Take care. I'll be back.